Hey, Jade, what's up?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good.
What's up? How can I help?
So I just recently found out that I was pregnant, and I'm pretty young, and
How old are you?
I'm 20.
20. Okay.
Yeah. And this is my first pregnancy, and
Is Dad in the picture?
he is. That's actually what I'm calling about.
Okay.
He's a very good guy. We were like casually dating, and then I kind of had ended things before I found out. Just because like our communication, there really wasn't anything wrong. The communication just wasn't very good on either side, and it was just I just thought it'd be better not to. And then I found out, and now he wants to be together, and like he wants to move so fast. He wants to move in together. He wants to actually be together officially. And I guess my question is like, is it worth it? Like, is it just because is it worth being with someone just because there's a kid coming?
That's a multifaceted question. A lot of the answers I'm going to give you are not popular, and they're the best I got with the data we have. Okay.
Okay.
And some of it's going to sound conflicting. All right. Know this. There's a book called Promises I Can Keep, which is it's basically a qualitative inquiry into single moms and why it's a deep dive. It's by Catherine Eden and Maria. I think it's Kafalis. I think it is Kafalis. Anyway, that's not important. What's important? The book's important, but it's not. It won't help you in your situation right now. The reason it's important is they talk about this thing called a magic moment, where couples that find themselves pregnant, they've broken up or they're separated, it has this pregnancy, the having the baby, the holding the baby, often, not always, but often brings people back and seems to, the light around this event is so bright, it covers up all the shadows everywhere else. And so your boyfriend, I'm just gonna call him your boyfriend because it makes it easier for us to have this conversation. But I know he's not your boyfriend right now. But boyfriend is his feelings are supernatural. I mean, they're very, very normal. You even wondering, should I take him back, makes me think that light is starting to get brighter and brighter. Let me ask you.
Yes.
Why would you even consider having him back if you've already broken up with him?
Well, I guess because my biggest issue was like we work different shifts, so that's why it was so like hard to have a normal relationship, I guess. And like now everything's so different. Like as soon as he found out, he instantly asked to go on day shifts at work, and like his communication is it's so much better than mine even is. And like, I guess that's why I'm like, he is putting in the effort. He is a good guy. Like there is nothing wrong with him. It's just, I guess it's just, we haven't been dating for that long.
Okay.
And I just feel like I don't know him very well. And now I realize like my whole life is going to be like, he's going to be in my life forever now.
Yes. And I think that's the part you need to metabolize. That there's not a life apart from him. That doesn't mean you have to be romantically involved with him. That doesn't mean he's a safe person or a person worthy of X, Y, and Z. But he is in your life for the rest of your life. And so whether you join him romantically or not, y'all coming together and learning how to communicate and talk and make decisions is going to be an integral part of the rest of your life. So the more work you put in on that side now, the better.
Right.
Here's some of the data. Being a 20-year-old single mom, do you have a high school education?
I do.
College?
No.
Okay. It's going to be very hard. Very, very hard financially. It's going to be very hard. This illustrious life of the single mom, it is, looking at the data only, it is hard. And living in a chaotic, unsafe, two people who refuse to do the work to learn how to communicate with each other marriage, creating a electric household is not good for a kid either. Do you have support outside of this guy? Are you all on your own? Do you have mom, dad, cousins, sisters, people who are lean in and help?
Yeah, I have a strong support system. Like that's the reason why I'm so like I know I would be fine. It's just I guess maybe it's just like it's not what I imagined. Like I always had a plan of like how my life would be.
Yeah, and that plan's gone, right?
Yeah,
that plan's gone. The other data, and this isn't popular, is that a kid who grows up with two parents who are on the same page, working towards the same goal, does really well, statistically speaking.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's what, I didn't grow up in a household like that. And like, my mom had like men in and out of our lives and all that. And like, that's the one thing, like I always wanted a 2-parent household.
So if you're my sister, if you're my daughter, here's what I would tell you to do. I would be very, very clear-eyed about the financial realities of this. Where are we going to live? How are we going to pay our bills? How much? I would sit down with somebody and find out how much diapers cost, how much food for the house is going to cost. Because it's not an insignificant, trivial amount. How much childcare costs? Childcare is so astoundingly expensive. And so I would sit down and look at the real, raw numbers. I would also, if you can afford it, go get I'll say marriage counselor, but a relationship counselor, and y'all two go. And you begin to learn to communicate. And I would tell them up front, this doesn't mean this goes into, that we're headed towards a romantic relationship. This is us understanding that we are connected now for the rest of our adult lives.
Right.
And the best we can... Go ahead.
Sorry. He just kind of like made the decision kind of like he was just like, it's better if we're together, and like then has like made it seem like we are.
Okay.
And like just...
And I think the sentence you gave me that is really clarifying is and instructive is, I don't know him. I slept with him. I'm having his baby, but I don't I don't know him. Right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to get to know each other. And you can look at his activity, what he's done, two different ways. You can look at him finding out and saying, I am in this baby's life. Changing my shift. I'm changing how I do my life. I am all in. You can look at that and go, oh, why didn't you think I was worth that? You can do that. Or you could say, all right, I'm having a man's baby, and at the outset, he's a man of integrity thus far. He is a man who wants to do what's right. And that, if he's sitting in front of me, if y'all two are sitting with me and he said, no, the moment I found out, I went and changed my shift. I got a second job. I'm putting money in the bank. I went and opened a checking account. I would love to marry her if she'll have me. I'm going to try to do this thing right. We did it out of order. We created chaos, but now I am getting my house in order so that I can be a calm in this storm that's coming. I would look at him and say, like, I'm proud of you.
Right.
But you are going to have that same fervor. How far along are you?
3 months.
Okay. Are you working more shifts than normal?
No, I have a full-time 40-hour job.
Jade, you're about to be a single mother.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this because I love you, there is a financial reality coming that is going to be a hurricane in the harbor that makes a landfall. Have you sat down and done the math on this thing? Everything from here's how much birth is going to cost, here's what diapers are going to be, or what my monthly budget's going to look like?
I have tried. I sat down and was even already looking at like my doctor visit costs, and that was already so, like, it adds up so quick.
So quick. So quick. Here's what I'm going to do. You know who my boss is?
I don't know.
My boss is Dave Ramsey. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Yes.
Okay. He helps people take care of their money. I'm going to hook you up with a couple of free sessions with a financial coach. I'm going to pay for it. Okay.
Okay.
And they're going to walk you through your budget. They're going to walk you through how much you make and how to allocate this stuff and to begin to come up with a plan. I'm also going to give you the Every Dollar app, the premium version, for 1 year as my baby gift. Okay.
Okay.
It's a way you can start to track your expenses. And that way it doesn't feel so chaotic. And if you end up with boyfriend, baby daddy as your permanent person, then y'all can both use the same app. You work together and you can see these expenses. But what y'all have to do is sit down and come up with a plan, because hey, I got a doctor visit tomorrow, it's $400. And he's like, okay, I'll get $400. Like, that's going to make y'all, that's a recipe for burning your relationship to the ground. It's thing response, thing reaction. And let's sit down and go with a plan. I'm going to have this many doctor visits. Hopefully everything goes okay. Here's what it's going to cost. Do you have insurance through your job?
Yes.
Okay. Let's sit down with your HR director at your job and let's go ahead and map it all out. I need to know end point, what's this going to cost? And now you have 6 months to come up with that money. Whether mom helps you out, grandma helps you out, he helps you out, you earn it by working a second job even though you're exhausted and you've got morning sickness. Like, it's just, you're a single mom.
Right.
Right? And let's see if there's any sort of employee assistance program to help with. A lot of businesses now will cover counseling. If they don't, I'm going to set you up with BetterHelp for 3 months for free that y'all can do relationship counseling with a licensed therapist online. That way you don't even have to miss a shift. Okay?
Okay.
And together y'all can talk through it. So I don't recommend, if you're my sister, if you are my daughter, I would not recommend y'all moving in together and just playing house with strangers. I think your intuition there is right.
Okay.
But I also think your intuition that this guy's going to be in my life for the rest of my life. And I grew up in a single parent home. And so I'm going to put the time in now to connect with this person, learn how to communicate. We're going to start working through at least a birth budget together. We're going to begin having these hard conversations of what life's going to look like. If I get sick, how do you want me to let you know? If you need something, how do you want me to let you know? And we're going to begin to connect this way and learn how to communicate together. That doesn't mean we end up, all of us in one big happy family behind a white picket fence, but it does mean we can communicate. And my hope is, as your friend, as your neighbor, my hope is that this guy continues to show up as a person of integrity and that you're able to be as invested in the relationship as he is, and it works out. That'd be awesome. That'd be a cool story.
Yeah.
And long-term for that kid, that appears to be what the data says is the best benefit. Does that mean if you're a single mom that something bad's going to happen to your kid? No. That means they're going to be swimming upstream. Things are going to be hard. How does all this sound? I threw a lot at you. How does it all sound?
It does make me think differently about things. I don't know. It's a lot to think about, I guess.
What is?
Basically, everything that you said is what I've thought already.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just so scary. I think that's what it is. It's just so, I guess I realize that it's so real.
Yeah. Let me put it like this. You're a mom now. And your job for at least the next foreseeable future is to give that kid the best chance it got.
Right.
The greatest gift you can give that kid is mama being okay. You're going to have to run towards the scary on behalf of this kid.
Yeah, I think that's what. And see, it's not even that I didn't want to be with him or anything like that. I think maybe it was the communication, but I was also really scared. This is like my second real, like, I wouldn't even call it a real. It's awful to say since we are having a kid together, but like I wouldn't even consider that a real relationship. I've only ever been in one, and like that was longer, and like it turned. He was very abusive, and I think that might be what's scaring me. Also, is like,
is this guy abusive?
No, he's amazing.
Okay, then set those bricks down from the old relationship and look this guy across the table in the eye and say, hey, we're having a kid. There's a financial reality to this. There's a social reality to this. Like, where's this kid going to live? Where's this kid going to go to school? Who's going to take care of this baby? Your mom, my mom. We're going to split childcare. There's all that. And then there's the romantic interest / communication interest.
Right.
And we're having a baby. We made a human. And that human's coming. We got 6 months to plan this thing out. 6 months to plan it out. And by the way, whatever you plan, man, I had my first kid we mapped it out. None of it worked out as we planned it. But the planning process was what was important. The budget was important, but the planning process was what was critical. That we practiced planning things together so that when our plans all went to crap, then we knew how to make a new plan together. But I think you have to sit down at a table and look across the table at him and said, we're doing this big grown-up thing and I don't know you. We did this out of order and here we are. And we're both shift workers. We're going to have to figure out all these different variables. And I think you're amazing. I'm just overwhelmed that you've stepped up in the way you have. This child is lucky to have you as their dad. But I don't know you. And so the next 6 months, we're not going to play house. We're going to get to know each other. And maybe that means we're going to date. That's probably the right way to say that. We're going to date. We're going to be together. We're going to get some professional communication advice. We're going to work together because we're in each other's lives, whether we're romantic or not. And you can tell them, my dream is that this kid grows up in a 2-parent house. My dream is you and I come to know each other, learn to work together. We learn to love each other. But it's going to go in stages and it's going to take time. Hang on the line. We'll hook you up with all that free stuff. And there's a lot of scary things, but also you're having a baby. You're having a baby. If you do the work now and set the stage, you got 6 months, you set the stage so this baby comes into a world full of joy and laughter and love. That baby's born into a room of light.